Welcome to Introduction to Business. I'm Bill Klinger, and we're going to have a fun semester, I hope. We're going to explore business and all the different aspects, whether you've wanted to get into business and you know what you want to do, you're interested in being an accountant or being in marketing, or whether you have no idea what you want to do and you want to just see what's out there. This is going to be a good class for you, I hope. What I want to do is introduce you to the different aspects of business. You probably never realized all the things that go on in business, all the different types of activities that go on to bring you the things that you've got, the clothing you have, the phones we've got, the food we eat. There's an amazing world out there. Just the money world alone, just looking at how we get loans. How do you buy cars? Where does the money come from? Where does the money go? So we're going to get into all those things this semester. So when we look at business, we can think of things like making hot dogs. Ever wonder how hot dogs are made? A lot of things when you think of business might be manufacturing oriented. Maybe when you think of business, you think of Wall Street, what's going on in finances and things like that. Maybe when you think of business, you think of fashion. Maybe you think of fast food when you think of business. Maybe when you think of business, you think of big business like oil companies and drilling in the Pacific or the Atlantic. All those greedy oil companies and things. Maybe you're thinking of starting your own business. Maybe like Steve Jobs and Wozniak, who literally started Apple in a garage. Well, no matter what your interest in business is or just a little curiosity, hopefully this course will help satisfy that. And if you have questions about things, please get engaged, please ask. And as you think about this and you go through this, think of things where you've worked or where you'd like to work, and think of the ways in which we can apply the things we're learning to those situations. Now, I'm going to just cover a couple simple concepts in this first video. And one of the things I want to talk about first is profits. Let's talk about profits. Many people think profits are a greedy capitalist invention. Right? Greedy guys. Well, let's think about that. Let's suppose you want to start a restaurant. You've got a great idea for a restaurant. Now, to make your restaurant, you're going to go and borrow money. Borrow money from your parents, your aunts and uncles. Let's suppose you have to borrow $300,000. And now, would you be happy if you borrowed those $300,000 and every year you made $1,000 in profits? Profits are take all the money that comes in, all the sales you make, subtract all your expenses, and the result is your profit. If you've borrowed $300,000 from your parents, your aunts and uncles and relatives, would you be happy making $1,000? Or put your own money in, would you be happy making $1,000? The answer is probably no. The answer is probably no. Why? Would you be jealous of someone else if they borrowed $300,000 but they made $1 million? What if they made $2 million? What's the difference? Well, what's happening is you're borrowing that money and you're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. You won't succeed necessarily. Many restaurants fail. Even large businesses fail. We've seen a lot of companies go bankrupt. We've seen companies such as Blockbuster and Circuit City. We see that JCPenney's and Sears are on the ropes. Many large businesses go out too. Making money is not a guarantee. It's a risk. Profit is the reward for taking risk. The bigger the risk, the more profit you want. Let's think about that, for example. Oil companies, very profitable, except during the pandemic, when oil prices just crashed. But that's because they're taking a risk, right? They're not guaranteed to make a profit. They invest billions and billions of dollars. And therefore, they're putting that at risk. And those billions of dollars, by the way, is not just rich people. It's people like your parents. Many business pension funds, teacher pension funds, retirement plans are invested in companies like Exxon. Exxon takes that money, invests it in the business in the hopes of making profits back to those owners, back to the retirement funds, back to the pension funds. But they're taking a risk. The reason when we talk about dollars, them making billions of dollars in profit, is because they've invested billions of dollars in doing it. How much do you think it costs to build an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico? It takes over $2 billion to build an oil rig. Are they guaranteed to make a profit? No. There may not be as much oil as they think. The oil rig may blow up. The price of oil may come down. There's all sorts of things. They're taking a big risk. Well, if they're investing $2 billion, they hope to make a lot of money. You've got to make a lot of money to get back that investment. So profit is not an evil thing. Profit is what gets us the things that we want. We want oil. We want clothing. Why do we get clothing? Because people are interested in making a profit. People will do things to make money, and it will get us the things that we want. We'll come back to that theme again. Who takes those risks? Well, entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the people who take business risks. You want to start your own business? You will become an entrepreneur. Oh, and yes, for the exam, you should know how to spell this. It's important to know how to spell it for two reasons. One is it helps you pronounce the word correctly. Notice the R, entrepreneurs, right? A bunch of R's in there. So you'll know how to pronounce it correctly. And because I've told you it's going to be on an exam, this is sort of a check to see if you're really paying attention and really do study. All right. Well, there's some more material here, but I would hope you're reading the book. We're going to talk a little bit in the next slide about your teams that you're going to have for your homework.